What's going on, everyone? I'm Joshua Thomas, and I'm here to talk about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And in this particular video, in this video series, we're going to just talk about my thoughts on each of the different segments of the game, and we're going to start with the prologue here. So this one's going to be a little bit shorter than the one where I talk about the different acts. Now, as of the recording of this video, I am still playing the game. I haven't finished it yet, so I want to treat this as a no spoiler for anything beyond the prologue. For those of you who just want to talk about the prologue and nothing else, and so that no one else spoils anything by accident for something further along in the game. So just talking about the prologue, where they are in Lumiere, we play as Gustav, and this is the introduction to the game and the world that they live in, and it's really interesting. For those of you who are just now joining or curious about playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33, they set up a very interesting world in which everyone knows the exact day and time that they're going to die, because in the distance there is this monolith and this creature known as the Paintress, and once a year the Paintress awakens and writes a new number on the monolith, slowly counting down from 100, and this is the year that she writes the number 33. And everyone who is 33 years of age dies instantly. They are basically Thanos. They turn to ash and flower petals. That's what happens. And yeah, so each year Lumiere sends out an expedition to try and kill the Paintress and stop her from painting death again. And I can't help but compare this to, you guys might be surprised about this, Final Fantasy 13, but specifically Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13. Many of you may not have played that after having played Final Fantasy 13. I know that's sort of a low point in terms of the main numbered Final Fantasy games for a lot of people. But if you can get past that, Lightning Returns is this action RPG that is very different. It plays very differently from the base 13. So I recommend giving it a try, and if not, just checking it out. So in Clair Obscur Expedition 33, everyone knows when they're going to die, and they know from the moment they are able to understand life and death, they know that they have a finite time left, and that time is getting shorter and shorter. People are dying younger and younger. Whereas in Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, everyone has been not immortal, but they have stopped aging for 500 years. And so in both of these instances, it explores this sort of what if. In Lightning Returns, it explores the what if of, hey, what if people stopped aging for 500 years? You know, little kids stayed little kids for 500 years. Their parents had to stay their parents for 500 years. Elderly people stayed elderly for 500 years. Now, you could still die from other means, but you weren't going to die from aging. And then over here, it's what if there was this countdown to the time that you died, and that countdown was controlled by this monster off in the distance, this untouchable being. So over here you've got your existence is finite, and over here you've got your existence is forever until something happens. And so each of these games does a really good job of exploring all of the different psychologies and inner things that are going on in all these different people. In Lightning Returns, some people love living for 500 years. One that I often think of is the parent who was tired of being a parent, tired of having to raise a 5-year-old who was never going to grow up, and so they simply ran away and left their child. And then in Lumiere, there's a drunken man whose child stayed at home because they had an argument And the drunken man is like, why do people celebrate the Gamage, which is the day that everyone of a certain age dies? You know, it's just a reminder of all the deaths that have happened in the past, and he's drunk. And then there's other people who are set up to help bring in brand new orphans into the orphanage because, hey, when your parents turn to dust, you're gonna need someone to look after you. And so they did such an amazing job of building this world around this core concept of, hey, you're going to die at this certain age. It's like, oh, hey, I know if I'm 16 years old and the current number is 33, I'm going to die in X number of years. I'm not going to do the math. There's certain times in the game where you almost have to do math like, oh wait, this person's this age, which means that they died here, or this person was this age when they wrote this, which means they went on expedition number blah blah blah, something like that. But it certainly sets up an interesting world. I made a different video, like praising the voice acting, praising the music, but all of this does set up for all the greatness to come. The voice acting, the storyline, the music, the way that the game is played. They have you go through some silly but fun tutorials while you're in Lumiere in the prologue. And then at the end of the prologue, when you actually do leave the continent on Expedition 33, well, some crazy things happen that just are like, just leave you wondering what is gonna happen next. So yeah, that's it. I wanted to keep this one short because, well, the prologue is pretty short. I'm Joshua Thomas, you've been watching the Failroad Express, and I hope you'll check out more about Clair Obscur Expedition 33 and other RPGs. Thanks for watching, check you guys next time.